then I look at the mother word there, which is competition. And in order for you to be in a competition, you have to come ready.
Yes.
And so this is what I've been asking. What are those elements that are going to have you come ready? Because how can you say you will come and compete at the table when your people are hungry? How can you come and say when you compete at the table or in this race when your education system, which should be training people for an economy-facing future, is struggling? How can you be competitive when your health system is suffering? Because we're saying in order for you to get to the first world, you have to be competitive. You have to be in the competition.
Yeah.
But the elements to have you competition ready, you're struggling with. You have throttling and chokehold debt, which then doesn't allow you to develop. You have a tax regime, which at best is having people on their knees. So how can you even think about being competitive if you don't have the ingredients to prepare you for the competition?
And you strike at a very good point. The locus of our problems stem from, and if you look at it carefully, government spending. Because one of the jokes I like to say is Kibaki had less, but he did more with it. But it's not really that he did more. It's just, so what did Kibaki do when he came in? He liberalized banking. He liberalized insurance business. He liberalized energy. And he liberalized telecommunications. So you had Safaricom that really bloomed after because of his policies and M-Pesa and things like that. You've got investments in energy from private sector, because at the time when he was coming in, we used to have blackouts. So energy stability was non-existent. So he did without spending, he did a lot for the entrepreneurs, so that entrepreneurs can build their businesses and can attract investments. So we've moved away from that. Now we've been running crazy budget deficits, 10 years, more than 10 years now. Budget deficits of at least 5% of GDP. It's crazy. Nobody does that. In Europe, they say you're in the EU, to join the EU, you have to do, the maximum budget deficit you can do is 3% of GDP. And even then, you can't do it consecutively. You have to have years where you have budget surpluses. Here we've been running crazy budget deficits. And you wonder how we're going to pay for that. And the bill will come. The bill, and it's coming. And what is happening then is you're taking resources away from education, from healthcare, from everything, just to pay for this debt. Because now you're surviving on debt now. If people don't lend you, things don't work. That's where we are now.
I mean, you look at the competitiveness that we talk about, and it's been established that it's very difficult based off the taxation regime that we have.
Yeah.
But that notwithstanding, then one asks the question, we still depend on these very taxes that are high, whether it's on personal level, whether it's on businesses, we still depend on these taxes for us to leapfrog to this development status. And one question we always ask, can you tax your people to develop
into prosperity.
Into prosperity, because that is the notion that is here. You will suffer for a very short time, but look at the bigger picture. Can that happen when you've taxed people so much that there's no surplus, there's no money to move around for them to purchase product that is being sold locally? And what does that do to manufacturers who depend on the extra there is for people to buy? So there is no circulation of money.
Yes, and So again, the locus comes from the spending. Why are you taxing highly? Because government has said it needs all the money it can get.
Okay.
And you can only do that for so long because I think the first murmurs about taxation came towards the end of Uhuru's government. And then and then the question was, should we put VAT on fuel? Should we put VAT on cooking gas and whatever? And then there was a whole hullabaloo that I think there was some sort of compromise where VAT was 8%.
Yeah.
And then when this government came in, I think they looked at the numbers, and because they didn't want to cut spending,
doubled it to 16%.
Yes. It can be reversed, because the entire problem is really just around government spending. It can be reversed if we cut spending. The assets that the government has that doesn't serve it. So can the government get rid of some of these assets and use the proceeds to cut down on its debt, which is a big driver of the quest for taxation. But on the flip side also, you see, you also attract investment in those liberalized sectors. So why is the government still holding Consolidated Bank? Why is the government still holding a KQ, which gobbles up like 20 billion? So what you're saying is you're going to take money from people so that they cannot be able to afford milk, and you're going to put it in KQ, offering for a service at a cost that nobody is willing to pay. That's why the losses, right? So it's like I said, a whole restructuring of our economy needs to happen, and the resolution needs to start from government spending. And until that is addressed, discussion of competitiveness will never be addressed. Will never be addressed. There's some work going on in terms of liberalization, even in the railway sector. So that's useful, and maybe that can build up the revenues on guys like SGR or whatever. I like the additional, the luck we are enjoying with Lamu Port. That was another white elephant, right? We're enjoying some luck because of
Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, so it's now getting a bit more use. But one of the things I would do is, why not make the entirety of Lamu an SEZ? So that you can have additional investment there. Manufacturing works well around coastlines. That's almost a truism. If you look at all industrial cities, they're either next to they are port next to either the ocean or a navigable river. There's a reason for that. So there's just some things that the examples are out there of how people like Hong Kong, who inspired Singapore to develop and leapfrogged from third world to first world. But I think we keep picking the wrong lessons from these examples, and we look to reinforce that which we're trying to do here that's gone so wrong. Indeed. So, for example, we've invested in so we've got the infrastructure fund, but we also had Kenya Development Corporation, which could have done the same thing. We have so many investment companies owned by government to support infrastructure entrepreneurship in Kenya. But how is that working for us?
And I guess that's what lingers, and that's the question that lingers. There's some things that we really need to look at, and I'm just coming from the place whereby if you're not ready to take the full hog, then don't mention it at all. Nderi has been here with us this morning. Thank